Thank you for joining us for this very special International Women's Day Speak Out. My name is Rally Chakarova, and I'm the Executive Director of the Bold Foundation and your host for this hour. I want to wish everyone a very, very happy International Women's Day. It's great to be here with you. We'll start with a few housekeeping notes first. The session will be recorded and it will be posted on Bold's YouTube channel. So feel free to go back and watch it as many times as you'd like. There are absolutely no actors as part of our panels. These are real industry women who have built some amazing careers for thentimes and are eager to share their stories and their insights with you. As I've mentioned already, you can participate through the platform called Mentimeter and actually be able to provide your questions at any point during the webcast through there, and we'll try to get through as many as we can in the time that we have together. I do want to acknowledge and thank our series sponsor, RBC Future Launch, for their generous support of this important initiative and to help close the information gap and get more youth interested in construction careers. Let's hear from our sponsors now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Beckles, and I'm the Vice President of Social Impact and Innovation here at RBC. Today, youth are the most unemployed age group in Canada, with almost 800,000 young Canadians not currently in employment, education, or training. Canada's skilled tradespeople that have long been the backbone of our economy are more critical than ever, and so is solving this sector's main challenges: the underrepresentation of women and immigrants, the need to double down on digital training, and the ongoing stigmas around trades careers. And while these challenges are significant, so are the opportunities. Through the RBC Future Launch partnership with Bold, we aim to ensure that you understand what opportunities are available in the skilled trades industry and how to get started in a career that you are passionate about. Because at RBC, we see a future in your future.
So on March 8th, every year and around the world, we celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. We recognize the gender stereotypes and discrimination that still exists, including in the workplace and especially in those non-traditional for women careers. So we can continue taking action to move towards greater gender equity. We have a great panel of incredible women that quite literally built the homes, schools, stores, offices, and communities we all live in. We will learn about the construction industry and hear directly from our industry panel about their own careers, how they got started, and what advice they have to share with those inspiring to join the industry. This year's International Women's theme is Embrace Equity, and it's worthwhile to explain the difference between equality and equity. Equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resources or opportunities. And equity recognizes that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. This is a little bit, you might have seen that picture below that just shows that just because someone is shorter and if they were given the same height of stool, they still can't reach the bookshelves and the items in front of them. So that's a good way to think about the difference between equality and equity. A little bit about the Bold Foundation. We have a very simple mission, and that's to inspire the next generation of construction professionals by providing career information, meaningful career exploration, and financial support. And one of our big differentiating factors is that Tridel is our principal and founding sponsor. Today's takeaways are very simple, and we only have 3 of them. You're going to learn more about the construction industry and the amazing women that work there and the various careers that are available. You're going to discover how to get started, and we're going to provide you with some resources on what that looks like to make sure that you're successful. And why are we focusing on construction? And that's a very simple reason. Construction workers are a big workforce across the nation. And while there's a lot of women that actually work in construction, on site, there's only 4% compared to everybody else. The good news is, however, that 4% actually makes up a lot of bosses and supervisors. That is majority of women. So there's a good news story and a story that we need to improve on. And that really starts with sharing more information about the industry, the careers that are available, and helping for people to understand that that is an option for them and not to be restricted by traditional gender roles and what those careers might look like for everybody. So a quick crash course on the construction industry. Construction is everything. And we've broken it down here for you in three major sectors. Residential is where we all live. That could be your house, your apartment building, or a high-rise condo. The public infrastructure sector is everything that we use collectively. So that is our transit, that is our roads, our bridges. And a sector called industrial, commercial, and institutional is things like office towers, manufacturing plants, our hospitals, our schools, and all those things that we really rely on to be able to go on with our lives. And why construction, many people ask. And we really want to leave you with 5 things to consider. First, it's a lot of diverse career options, and you're going to see that in the panel that we have today. The skilled trades are a major component of that, and that includes individuals like plumbers, electricians, HVAC operators, glaziers, general laborers, and the list goes on and on for a full 40 to 50 different careers in that. Engineering, science, and design is really the building design and how we go about actually building a lot of that infrastructure. The administration and management, as well as training and education, is individuals that actually manage the day-to-day of these projects, the companies that they work in, and that go on to train the new workforce. And health and safety is a consistently growing field. There's above average compensation. So the starting average salary in construction is $24 an hour, and the earning potential is $60 an hour plus. And what's really exciting about that is that there's very clear career advancement way for you to get there. So in year 1, if you're starting in an apprenticeship or in a junior role, you're sort of at the bottom of the totem pole, making that average of the $22 to $24 an hour. Within 5 years, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more, you're actually at that mid-level and can actually get your certification and become a journey person. That year 10 plus is when you can get into supervision and management. And what's really exciting about these careers is that you can actually be a business owner. And we look forward to hearing from Alexandra, who's going to tell us more about that experience. The last and really important one is that these careers are very much in demand. The last projections tell us that in order to meet our infrastructure needs and the high demand and the retirements that we're seeing from the industry, Ontario is going to need to bring in 115,000 new workers that are going to need to be trained, get started, and stay in the industry. And there are 3 main factors that drive this increase in demand. One is investment. And since so many of you are joining us from the Greater Toronto Area, you just need to look up or look at high level in terms of all the transit, housing, and other infrastructure investments that are happening all around our city. Climate change is a really big one. And what that means is that all of the initiatives that we're looking in terms of adaptation and mitigation in order to be able to tackle climate change and change our ways and how we produce carbon really rely on construction. Thinking about the older apartment buildings that are maybe not as energy efficient, that need to be retrofitted, or even flood protection around the lake areas. All of that relies on construction labor. And regional growth. Toronto is still the #1 destination for new immigrants to settle when they come to Canada. And that means that our region is only going to keep growing, and that means we'll need more housing, more transit, and more community services to sustain that. So not why construction, but construction because you have diverse career options to choose from. You have access to higher than average pay and earning potential. You have clear and diverse career advancement. You have job security and transferable skills. And, as I'm sure our panel will tell you, one of the biggest differentiating factor for construction workers is that feeling of fulfillment and pride. To look at buildings and projects around the city as you're driving by and say, I helped build that, is a pretty incredible feeling. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce you to our industry panel. And I'll actually give them the opportunity to introduce themselves, and they can tell us about their role and how they got started into construction. So Patricia, why don't we start with you?
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you kindly for having me. My name is Patricia Radmirov, a manufacturing engineering graduate from Canada with a master's degree in international business from Australia. Today, I am the humble president of Isherwood Geostructural Engineers, a consulting engineering firm mostly female-driven, by the way, specializing in geostructural, geotechnical, and foundation engineering for new and restoration projects. We have offices both in Ontario and British Columbia. In this role, I concentrate on the daily operations of the company, including but not limited to assessing of performance, mentoring and providing guidance, maintaining financial budget, and implementing our CEO's business strategy. Just a little bit more about myself, how I got started. I was born in Venezuela. I immigrated to Canada alone about 20 years ago, with merely $20 in my pocket and zero or no English language skills. But with a dream, okay? With a dream of achieving the goals I was told I should not pursue, simply because I was a woman. So I participated in university co-ops and also held small jobs so to pay for my education and living. And after learning English the best I could and completing my studies, I joined organizations like Boeing, Bombardier, Siemens, Alstom, and Metrolinx, all from which I learned a lot. Yet sadly, they were and continue to be male-dominated. But I did not let that fact stop me from attaining my professional dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Ashley, we'll go over to you.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Happy International Women's Day. It's a pretty big day for everybody. As you said, my name is Ashley Pereira. I am an ironworker apprentice, a part of Toronto's union, local to 721. It was not an easy road, but it was definitely worth every step. So I moved out very, very young, and unfortunately had to work 2 jobs to make bills made and pay rent. And it was just more migraines than enjoying what I was doing. And thank God for my welfare rep. She saved my life, and she introduced me to Hammerhead, a great program that showed me that I'm a lot more than what I've heard in the past. And I was always at these dead-end jobs that I really didn't like because I was never happy. I was just passing time and making money. I got into this Hammerheads program, which is a boot camp like program for construction. So it gets you mentally ready for being confident and understanding what the construction workforce will bring you. And you are not a god. You are being put there because you have a talent. Like the coordinator said to me, and the only thing that really, really sticks with me every single day is that no matter how slow anyone is in school, if you take longer to pick up on things, it doesn't matter. Your hands are magic. And I thought of that. I'm like, that's very true, because no matter what I do, I just focus and zone right out at it. And then I look at the product and I'm like, I did that. I did that myself. That's awesome. And that's what construction brings for me, because like you said, every single place that I pass by in Toronto, I see places I've worked at. And I can tell my grandkids that was me. You know, I was there. Grandma was there at one point. I'm going to drive them nuts with it. But it's just what the confidence brings you. Like, you went from nothing to absolutely everything. And it's incredible, because every single day at the workforce, I always think that I'm in the way. But then, because, you know, you're a woman, you're smaller, you don't carry as much weight, it's always going to be in the back of your mind. But once you see the way that your brothers treat you, you're just a guy with hair. A guy with very long hair. That's all we are. Because as long as you pull your weight and you're focused and you're driven, half of these guys aren't driven. So we already got that on them, guys. We need more women in here to show that there's a lot more that they have to bring that bar up on, because we're making them embarrassed. We're embarrassing them, guys. And that's just because we're doing what we love. We have such great minds and great activities. We're very creative. We're very organized. We're very focused. We're calmer at work than we are at home because there's more things to focus on. But that's what these men need in the industry. And that's what everybody needs in the industry. And it doesn't hurt that we like to clean, because let me tell you, some of these guys really need to learn what that means so we don't trip. Melissa's laughing over there. She gets it. But it's a very big importance that we get more women in the industry, so we understand that there are limits that can be broken. It's 2023, guys. There's no limits anymore. As long as you have that creativity and that drive, get in this trade and help us out, because we can't just do it alone.
Well, I love that, Ashley, and you can tell how passionate you are about it. And that goes a long way. If you're passionate about what you do, you will be successful. Melissa, we'll go over to you.
Amazing. My name is Melissa Miller. I am an assistant super for Tridel. I've worked in the industry now this will be my 12th year. So I started out going to chef school. So I went to chef school downtown at George Brown College, did it for a year, decided that I don't want to cook for people. So, which led me into taking some business courses and interning with an architect who does do work with Tridel, which exposed me to the company. I've had a couple role changes in this career. I started off in sales for a couple of years, so doing administrative work for selling our condos, then transferred over to construction and started right at the bottom. So learning everything from doing POs, doing any administrative work, ordering drawings. Now at the level I'm at, I'm an assistant super and I'm finishing amenity spaces. I'm currently working at one of the largest jobs in North America called The Well, down at Spadina in front. So I'm finishing one of the buildings over there. But just to talk about like the role, it's a lot of hands-on, a lot of learning, a lot of questions, a lot of answers. And I think the biggest takeaway from getting into this role is no day is the same as the next. No 2 days can ever be the same. You're always learning, you're always asking questions, you're always asking why. And the biggest thing is like they encourage you to ask questions, because sometimes you'll be given a task and it won't make sense. Don't downplay that you understand. Just always ask questions, because there's always new ways to look at problems and solutions. Basically, we're just like big problem solvers here. So that's pretty much it. Thank you.
I love that. And I think one big takeaway from you and Ashley's, stories is, I think when you're in school and you're young, you feel like you should have it all figured out and know exactly what it is that you want to do. And if you do, that's really lucky. Hold on to that. But also it's okay to try things out and say, kind of rule them out. And I love what you said about like, I don't want to cook for people. Like life is short. I want to do something I actually enjoy.
I won't cook, but I'll build your home.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You'll build kitchens, but not cooking them. Yeah. Well, Alexandra will give you the last word in terms of the introductions before we dive into the questions that have already come in.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Alexandra Wells. I very much appreciate this webinar. It's fantastic. We are reaching a lot of minds that we didn't get to before all of the Zoom and that. Us reaching different parts of the world to be able to bring everybody together and get on the same the same field, right? And so with that, so I'm Alexandra Wells. I am actually an owner of a Females Touch Renovations Incorporated. It is my own company, and my passion is for tile setting. So I've been a tile setter for about 10 years now. And what I've learned is that I wanted to do artistic work, but I didn't know how to. So luckily, I was in a co-op program called Step to Construction, which is ran by Elvie Morrow out of Northview Heights of the TDSB board. It is a fantastic program. I was actually the first woman accepted in that program. Then after that, I got sponsored by Bolt, actually. They sponsored me to go to tile school, which I was one of the very few women who went through the tile school for Local 31. So then after that, I got to work for Ashby Contracting, which was a great company to start out with. I was the first female installer for Local 183. And then I moved on to Mega City Tile, which I became the first female foreman. I ran crews up to 20 men, 4 different towers. It was great. But I got bored. And one thing that I love about construction is that there's no roof. Okay. We build our own roof and we just learn how to build on top of that roof. We don't actually ever stop. There's no ladder that you get to the top and you're like, oh, well, that's where I get to stay for the rest of my life. It's not what happens in construction. You don't like what you do every day, you go and you change it up. As one of the other panelists has said, no 2 days are the exact same, right? Today I'm installing floors, tomorrow I'm installing a bathroom. As you see my background, that's actually a bathroom that I did a couple of years ago. I get to do designs like that. I get to do production in the condos. But even then, when you get a custom bathroom, it's fantastic. I've done pools, I've done spas. It's wonderful what I get to do. And I get to have have dreams come true. Like someone who has a thought in their head, I get to make that actually come to life, right? Like those drawings that people draw, the building, someone had that in their brain, and the amount of people, the amount of knowledge that it has taken to be able to create that drawing is just amazing. I'm inspired by people who can actually do that, and I love being part of that team. I've been in, as I said, I've been in construction for about 10 years. And yeah, brothers and sisters alike, they're all fantastic. So many people are worried that because you're a female, you won't fit in. And I don't believe I've ever been on the outskirts, right? My brothers and my family, you see them on a day-to-day basis. There's definitely different days and different emotions and different types of society rules. But when you get that hard hat on, when you get those safety boots on and you cross that gate, you're just a part of it, right? Your hands are going and building that. And it doesn't matter if you're a female, male, trans, it doesn't matter. Everybody is taking a part of that project and that building. And we all, every single one of us is proud at the end of the day when we finish that project. So that's what I have to say.
I love that. No, that was absolutely great. And I love that you and Ashley and a couple of the other panelists just went on. It's about the merit and it's about, your quality of work. And that's what's going to distinguish you there. And, construction is true. There is a lot of, women are still underrepresented, but that's true for many other roles that are, quote unquote, non-traditional. And I think thank you all for being sort of those trailblazers that are in the industry and that are making that difference and that are making it easier for new women to get started there as well. I do want to start with some questions that we've already received. So Melissa, I'm going to come to you about a question around barriers. So what are some of the barriers that you have faced as a woman in the industry and how did you overcome them?
So being a woman, especially a woman of color, sometimes like in the past, there's been instances where you weren't taken seriously or because you're asking for certain things, they're not exactly listening to you. So how I overcame it is like, I'm a pretty loud person. So I just can constantly just keep speaking up for myself and speaking up for what I need in terms of like, whether it's material or resources or tools required to complete a task, or if I have an opinion about how the process of something is going, just continue to be present, continue to be at the forefront of what you're doing, be proud of what you're thinking, how you're thinking, what you're saying. So just continue to just be yourself and be out there, put yourself out there. Don't back down, because there's going to be people who won't believe what you're saying or won't want to hear what you're saying. But also being in this industry and having all of the mentors that I've had in the past, and the people that I've worked with in the past, and even now, like, everyone's pretty open. So they want to hear what you want to say. They want to hear what you're thinking. They want to hear your progress, your progression. In terms of barriers now, I don't believe that there is so much barriers. I do believe that there are some, in terms of like men being very prevalent on the job site, not a lot of women here. So just keep speaking up.
I love that. And the hater's gonna hate, right?
Yes.
So don't let them bring you down. Patricia, same question to you. You mentioned in your intro that you've pushed some boundaries on your end and have been in places where you weren't always welcome. So do you mind sharing a little bit about what barriers you faced in your career and what kept you going?
Yes, absolutely. In industry for the past 20 years, I noticed that my counterparts' performance, male, were overestimated. So I usually or sometimes was not considered to be ready for a leadership role, whereas most of my male counterparts were. I also noticed that, many of us in society relate leadership to be tied to confidence, assertiveness, and strength. So if you were to be firm, at times you were considered to be a bit, aggressive. Or if you are nice and kind, then you're too soft to be considered for a leadership role. So I just want to say how I overcame those barriers, amongst others. Generally speaking, I'm an immigrant who literally came with nothing other than the need to succeed. So I figured I would work longer, study harder, ask more questions. I simply did not give up. I learned how to be gentle when I had to be gentle and when to be assertive, okay? I had to learn how to be seen and heard in the room. I decided to be confident. I also decided that to realize that although there are barriers to gender balance, I also played an important role in learning how to play in the sandbox. It's both ways. Thank you.
I love that. And I love that you used, I decided to be confident. I decided to speak up because, a lot of research has shown that when you're looking at a job description, men, for the majority of the time, men would say, oh, I can, I meet 3 out of the 15, I'll apply. And women need to meet every single one in order to know that to actually move forward with applying. So it's really, a lot of it is about growing that self-confidence and telling yourself that, you can do it. Like what's the harm? The worst thing you can hear is maybe no. And then it's not like you're not any worse off than you were before that. So I love that. I love that choice of words.
Thank you.
Ashley, thank you so much. Ashley, I'll come to you. So we have mentioned that women are still underrepresented in the construction industry, especially in the skilled trades, making up only 4%, which is, considering we're half of the population, that is a particularly low figure. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. Why do you think that women are still so underrepresented? And is safety maybe a factor?
Well, honestly, out of what I've seen out there, a lot of them are more focused on, unfortunately, looks. And they don't understand that jobs are very important and careers are a big part of life. And a lot of people are in this age where, you're at home, you're comfortable, college or university is going to come your way. But what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't plan out the way you want to? Or what if, like one of the panelists said, I'm sorry, I can't quite remember who, but they were in Melissa. There you go. She was a chef. And then she decided she did not want to cook for people. Well, what if that happens to you, where you are going to school and you have this great plan and your lifestyle's figured out and it doesn't pan out? you can always use your talents in construction. And a lot of women are not understanding that just yet, because there's a lot of gender roles where you are seen to be in an office, in pretty heels, in a suit. Take it from someone that worked at TD Bank. The high heels are not all that they're chalked up to be. They're uncomfortable. You get blisters. I don't know how women choose that versus a nice safety shoe with a nice cloud in it, and you can get dirty throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to worry about, oh, my hair's out of line. Okay, all right, lunchtime, go change your shoes. You know how many people at TD Bank throw shoes off under that desk? That's what a lot of women don't understand, that you can be uncomfortable and make that money, or you can wake up before your alarm and actually get to site because you're excited to see them. I've brought so many things to site to take care of my boys. I brought lunches. I've brought the panini press. You make it a family. And a lot of people don't understand that that's an option. And I think a lot of women are more geared to what they're expected, excuse me, versus what they could do. And that a career does not have to be by the book. You can actually love what you do, and you don't have to be a boy. I act like a boy, but I definitely look like a girl. But like, you guys, as long as they get the taste of it, I think that's a big part of it, is those construction programs in high school. My high school, unfortunately, did not offer those construction programs, so I was never aware of any until my welfare office introduced me. But a lot of girls, they could, like Samara last year, she was a great welder, and her shop teacher noticed it and got her opening her eyes. She was lucky enough to have shop in high school, where the teacher was able to pull her out of reality and be like, you better not be a gender role type of thing. You better follow your dream. Okay. And she got lucky, and look where she's at now. She's a great representative. She's someone you can always reach out to, and she loves the industry. So anybody who watched last year's panel, feel free to watch it again. But she is a great example of why it's amazing just to experience new things versus thinking that you're on a one-track mind. And the second that we experience that and we understand that, the more women that will come out. And that's why I really expect a lot of women to listen to these panels today and understand that there's no limit. There really is no limit. You can be whoever you want as long as you smile in the morning.
Well, I love that. And, my big takeaway from everything you said was that it's important to challenge those gender roles and to stay open to opportunities, because you don't know what you're going to be passionate about and what you're actually going to find really great success in. So, Alexandra, I'm going to come to you, and sort of the same question. Why do you think women are still underrepresented in the industry? And are there anything, that we can do to help change that?
So with your actual question, is safety a factor? I've been in construction for 10 plus years, and I've only had right off the bat, when I think of safety as a factor, right, I don't think of, eye protection, shoes, this, that, or other thing. I immediately think of sexual harassment and attacks and this, that, and the other thing, which is very sad. That's where I go when safety is a factor. As I was going to mention, I've been in construction for 10 years. I've been revolving around men for the last 10 plus years. I've grown up with my brothers and my teachers and my this, that, and the other thing, all male dominated. And I've never been put into a sexual harassment situation that my brothers, and I'm talking brothers, family and non-family, have not protected me, right? I can probably count 3 different times that I've actually had not physical encounters, but comments and comments or vibes, I would say, because no one actually physically harmed me. No one physically touched me or anything like that. But yes, we are women. We are women on a construction site. And especially if we are, number one, the first woman to be on that construction site, everyone changes, everybody goes, ooh, look at the pretty thing. And that is sadly just how our society is raised, right? And I would say that safety is not necessarily a factor, because once you become that family, once you have that crew member, once they figure out who you are as a person, they don't look at you as a female or a male. They look at you as a person. They look at you as a brother or a sister or a daughter, right? Like, I have tons of mentors that introduce me as like, yeah, this is my daughter, because in that aspect, they blanket safety you, right? So no one actually messes with you, no one this, that, and the other thing. But what I would say is our biggest factor would be segregation, not feeling involved, right? Because what ends up happening is that from middle school, like, I grew up luckily in a school that we had woodshop, we had design and tech, we had home ec, and they were mandatory courses. So regardless of your gender, you had to take them. So no one was, oh, well, she shouldn't be in this course, she's a female, or he shouldn't be in this course because he's a male. It was everybody got to try, and they got to learn about themselves if that was something that they were interested in, and they didn't have to be put down about it. And I think that's one of our biggest problems with our society and our rules and our this, that, and the other thing, is we're teaching people from young ages that, oh, well, if you're a girl, you're not allowed to play with construction toys, right? You have to play with dolls and pretty things and this, that, and the other thing. Whereas and men are taught the same thing. They're taught, well, you're not allowed to play with dolls, you're not allowed to do hair, you're not allowed to draw, right? Those are girly things to do. And I definitely know that it's International Women's Day, and I am very proud to be a woman. But one of our issues is that we're not teaching our men properly either. We're excluding them, right? We're going, well, it's on us to fix the problem, and it's not. It's on everybody. It is women, it is people in the trade that we need, not necessarily just women, because if we took all the women, then we also have the issues of who's going to have our families, who's going to do this, that, and the other thing. Because sadly, it is a thing that when women want to start their families, well, I can't be lifting 100 pounds when I have a 9-month belly, right? I would love to, and everything like that, but there's chemicals, there's this, that, there's maternity leave, right? If everybody stopped working because of maternity leave, then there would be no construction. So it is definitely a safety factor, and that is one thing that a lot of women focus on. Well, I'm going to be surrounded by men, people are going to look at me, people are going to do this, that, and the other thing. And it's true, I'm not gonna deny, but that's when you have to make the decision. Like, I make the decision that I put my boundaries down. Right when I get onto a construction site, everyone thinks that I am a standoffish, not very nice person. And I make sure that that is how that is, because that is my boundary. And then as soon as I'm on job site for a week, a couple of, like, because normally you're on a job site I was on a job site, I would say 5 years is one of my longest job sites I've been on. And you know what? I was joking with people, I was having fun. You see these people in these faces day in and day out, and they take care of you as long as you take care of them. Just like one of our panelists mentioned, that they bring food, that they bring the panini maker. Like, yeah, these people become your family. We had birthdays. If it was your birthday, you bought coffee for everybody. If it was a holiday, we grabbed pizza lunch. Like, there's a lot less safety and sexual harassment than a lot of people make it out to be. It still happens, 100%. It still happens, and it's very sad that it happens. But the amount of sexual harassment versus not being included is completely different. When people, like, if I don't feel included in my crew members, right, and in whenever they have a running joke or a derogatory joke or a comment or this, that, or the other thing, and they go, oh, don't tell Alex, or because she won't get it, or because she's a female. Well, I'm in construction, I know that these things happen. women are not always the pretty, and like we fart. We go number two. We do all of the human bodily functions, and men protect us actually by not saying those degrading things while we're around. But what ends up happening is that hurts the relationship we have with them, because then we get isolated and secluded, and then we feel like we're on our own. And I think that's where a lot of people and a lot of women have the problem, because they go and like I was on a panel, I do believe last year, and they did a statistic on how many women go through apprenticeships. And the intake on those women signing up for the apprenticeships are astronomical. There are so many women signing up for apprenticeships, but the women who are writing their red seals and continuing their apprenticeship and finishing their apprenticeship is not even half of how many people sign up. And I believe that it is some people don't understand that it is a dirty job. Depending on what job you go into, yeah, you're going to get dirty. There's dust, there's debris, there's mud, all of that sort of stuff, right? And some of them don't understand that, yeah, they are going to be the only woman or one of very few women on that construction site. And unless you are able to kind of fit in, it is what it is. You're gonna be on the outskirts, right? And it sucks, because there are so many women who have the skill level and the knowledge and the expertise to be able to actually do these jobs, but because they can't have painted nails, they don't want to go on a construction site. And so it is the gender roles, and it's the segregation, and it sadly it's us teaching our men that women aren't supposed to be there, right? And that starts from when we're kids.
Yeah,
So.
Absolutely. And I think those are really good points. And Ashley kind of talked from the individual level, like, don't you let yourself be boxed in by these gender roles, and you're taking it sort of from the influencers side on young people and young women's lives. That's like their parents, their teachers, their guidance counselors, and it's sort of a call to action to don't you box them into these gender roles, right? Because there are cases, and we've seen that too, where women from a very young age want to pursue a skilled trade, and they're actually being told by teachers or guidance counselors or even their parents that that's just not for women and that's not a good path for you, or as an engineer or any of those types of roles. And I think some of it comes from being protective, because there is not a lot of information about what the culture on site looks like and how much it's changed. So I think it comes from a good place in terms of wanting to protect young people and make sure that they are included, that they are finding a role that they can be successful in. But sometimes that's a bit of a double-edged sword and can actually fight against that. So, and I think what you said about the mat leave, that is a perfect example, the difference between equality and equity that we talked about at the beginning. Obviously, men can take pat leaves as well, and that's a great change in laws. But the physical nature that comes with women actually being pregnant, that's where the equity components can come into. So thank you for that. Melissa, we'll come back to you, and I'd love to know, what is something that you find most rewarding about your current role or just working in the industry?
So for the most rewarding thing would have to be the final outcome. Driving by, seeing your first building. Me and my partner always drive by and I'm like, babe, look, I did that building. Like every single time we drive by. So being proud of like being a part of building Toronto, being a part of that. I also measure my like self-reward by like how people perceive me and wanting to work with me. If you're organized, if you can communicate with people and not treat them poorly, like you don't have to have that strong demeanor and be yelling all the time and swearing. Just treat people with respect. They'll want to work with you. They'll want to help you. If you're ever in a pickle, I need help with this, they'll be running help you and save you. So those would be my two things. So seeing the final product and just being respectful. Those are how I measure.
I love that. Yeah, thank you. Patricia, what about you? What do you find most rewarding?
I would say, to be in a position to foster change, mentor, and promote women equity and gender balance in this exciting industry, an industry where we're building and rebuilding the world.
I love that. That's amazing. We have a few more minutes, so I'll try to sneak in here a number of questions, but really the most important one is, what is your advice for girls and women who want to learn more, who want to get started or be successful in this industry or any other industry, really, where they may feel like it's non-traditional for them? So Ashley, we'll start with you.
Thank you. One thing that I always had a problem with growing up was self-confidence. I always had that when I say Great Wall of China in my head, I mean the Great Wall of China. You couldn't even see the sunlight over it. And I stopped myself a lot. And like I said, during the Hammerheads program, James, the coordinator, the owner of the program, he is a very strict, very stern guy that when he told me my hands are magic, it hit me in a different way. And I understood that you can make it, then you don't have to limit yourself. And my confidence just soared, and everything I've ever heard, anything in my past just didn't matter anymore. And I'm able to succeed. I'm able to proceed. I'm able to do everything and anything that I had dreamed for. And that was a big, big, big part of my life change. And a lot of other women can do that as well, as long as they don't limit themselves. And I keep saying that word limit, because it's the first thing that we think of when all these women are joining in the trades. You can do so much. And as long as you see your self-worth, and keep in mind that you don't know what you can do unless you try it. Because a lot of women, like I said before, and a lot of other panels have mentioned, that our roles are seen as you got to do it, and other guys have to do their roles. That's completely incorrect. Nowadays, everybody's different types of people, different pronouns. What limits people to do what they want? And it's a big stopper, and my confidence stopped me when we're growing up. But as I grew older, I just noticed that I was the only one stopping myself. And once I noticed that, I'm a Leo, I'm very loud. Like Melissa said, she's loud. It's a very great thing to be, because that's what you need to be in the trade. And like I said before, no confidence. I was not loud. I was in a shadow constantly. I would definitely not make it in the trade if it came like 10 years ago. There was no way on this earth that I would make it, because like Alexandra has mentioned as well, they're your brothers. So even if you grew up in a very horrible family, unfortunately, like I did, you are welcomed into this whole new world of a family. And you can have like 10 dads. You can have over 100 brothers. You're just never going to be alone. And it does help your confidence build up, because there are going to be those brothers that are be like, listen, did you hear what she said? Because it makes more sense than what you're saying. And then, ta-da, my confidence just goes that much higher. Yeah. And it works. And I try everything and anything to get more women understanding that they need to try it. I don't care if it's going in the sandbox and building a sandcastle and seeing if they can make that sandcastle look unique. If they can make something to that sandcastle that stands out. If they can enjoy doing that, then they belong in the trade.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, research does show that we tend to believe negative comments more than we do positive comments. So for every negative comment, it usually takes 3 positive ones for us to, sort of build that confidence and be sure of ourselves. So what I heard from you here is listen to those positive comments and focus on them. Now we are rapidly running out of time, so I'm going to limit the rest of our speakers. Same question about your piece of advice to round off the panel discussion. but if you can do it in 30 seconds. So Alexandra, I'll give you the next word about the piece of advice.
Definitely go for it, right? Like, I know as she said, with the confidence and everything like that, like, go for it. Open those doors. A lot of women before you have opened them, even if it's just a crack. And you know what? That next person in line gets to open it more and open it more. And the faster we get these doors open and the faster we get more women on these job sites, you're not going to be alone. You're going to be involved and you're going to be a lot more comfortable having a lot more women in. So take that extra step. Take the first step into whatever you have to do. Talk to those guidance counselors, talk to your parents, talk to construction workers that you may have in your family. Just network and get out there. And once you're out there, it's going to be fantastic. You're going to love yourself because of all of the things that you can do and build. It's a great confidence boost at the end of the day.
I love that. Thank you so much. Melissa, we'll go over to you for a piece of advice.
So like, women in construction isn't really a glamorous job. So my piece of advice would be just to get out there. Be relevant, see what's out there, keep searching. There's a job for everything. There's a position for everything. And the confidence that you'll gain as Ashley and Alexandra said, will be enormous in your forefront for your life, because we all live in homes. And now you don't have to pay the plumber to come because you're the plumber. You'll pick up job skills from the drywaller, from the welder, from the tile setter. You'll pick up all these little things, and you'll make friends with all of these people, and it'll put you at the forefront of just living a better, happier life. And also, the pay is amazing. So
that's important. We all got bills to pay. We all want nice homes. That's a very, very important point.
Get out there.
I love that. And Patricia, we'll give you the last word here on a piece of advice.
Thank you very much. I would like to say that I learned a lot along the way, that believing in yourself is your best friend. Okay, believe in yourself always, no matter what people say. Perseverance will set you apart. There is no doubt. Persevere and you will be different, and will ultimately result in the materialization of your dreams. So in a nutshell, be the example of the change you want to see.
I love that. What a great way to end it. So thank you so much. What an amazing panel. I didn't lie when I said we had 4 incredible women to share their experiences and how far they've come in the industry. And I can't wait to see how far you are all going to go. We'll do this again in 10 years and you can tell us the new things that you've learned along the way. So just to make sure that everybody knows how to get started in case they're interested, because I love what Melissa said, and Ashley, just try it. Now is the time, especially if you're a student, you don't have some of those responsibilities. Trust us here, the old gals on the call, you don't have some of those responsibilities. So it's a great time to try out new things and see if it's right for you. If it's not right for you, like cooking for Melissa, then you know that's not it, and you can move on. So really, whether it's construction or something else, don't limit yourself and try it. And we want to share some resources on how exactly to do that. But first, and we'll just get the PowerPoint presentation up here for the last little bit of the minutes that we have together. Next steps are really important. We want to leave you with some tangible actions on you sat there, you are all fired up and inspired, and you're like, okay, what do I do now? And it's very simple. First, we'll start with the myths that I hope we debunked for you today in this short hour. And that is, the industry is not suitable for women. If you have one takeaway from this time that you spent with us today, just know that is not true. There are more and more women who are entering the industry every day, including this industry and other, quote unquote, non-traditional roles. And it might be a little bit tough. You might be sometimes the only woman in the room, but don't let that stop you, because if you're passionate about it and if you're willing to put in the work, that's going to be recognized. The other myth that we wanted to sort of bust for you is that the work and the culture is not safe. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And Alexandra made some really good points that safety, especially nowadays, goes beyond the physical safety to also include being included, being in a workplace that you feel welcomed at, and that is also free of any forms of harassment and discrimination. And that the work is too physical and, not suitable for women. Again, lots of different options because there's a huge diversity of careers out there. Some of them include no to little heavy lifting, and some, if you want to get your workout in while you're at work, then certainly those are options as well. But lots of options for every interest and every career choice that you can think of. So as you get started on your next journey and thinking about how you can move forward, there's really two main pathways that you can pursue. And from Ashley and Alexandra's perspective, those are the skill trades and the apprenticeships. And you really need to look at a training provider or an employer or sometimes a college program that will help give you those skills and help you get started in that apprenticeship. There are other industry professions such as Melissa's and Patricia's that rely and you kind of need the college or university program, or you can actually work your way up with some hands-on experience as long as you're provided that opportunity. So these are the two main pathways that you're looking at when you're thinking about these types of different careers. So for those of you that are high school students, and Alexandra mentioned this already, there are two really great programs that if you're in grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you can think about and talk to your teacher or your guidance counselor about. The first one is the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. Both of these are co-op programs, so they'll give you the opportunity to get on site, work with some employers, and just decide for yourself if this career choice is right for you. And for those of you that are tuning in from the Toronto District School Board, and Alexandra mentioned this, the Step to Construction is a really great program to get that hands-on experience, see the diversity of careers that are available on site, and decide, again, if that's right for you. It may not be, and ruling it out is just as important as deciding to pursue it. If you are a graduating student and you're interested in pursuing college or university, now is the time that lots of colleges and universities have an open house. Take the time, go see the grounds, visit the classrooms, meet the teachers, and see if that's an area that you would find success in and that is well suited to you. George Brown has the School of Construction Management, which specializes in construction careers, which is why we've shared that particular information there. But there's lots of other colleges and universities right here in the Greater Toronto Area that offer great programs that will set you up for success. And unfortunately, college and university can be expensive. So there are millions and millions of dollars of scholarships every year. And some of them you need to apply to, some of them would be awarded to you. Regardless, it is very much worth your time to look into that. Bold has a construction scholarship program, and in the past 10 years that we've run it, we've awarded more than 500 scholarships for 1.6 million, and that's just us. So there's lots of other organizations out there that are ready and willing to support you in your educational pursuit. And if you're a graduating student and you're interested in construction skill trades, we do recommend that you look at a union training program and a center because the employment outcomes of that are very strong, and it will give you the all the experience and the skills that you need to be successful and get started with an employer. And as Ashley mentioned, there's also really great pre-apprenticeship programs such as Hammerheads that will allow you in 3 short months get the foundation that you need and be able to select the skill trade that you'd be successful in. If you are thinking, I'm not too sure yet, what are other ways that I can take a look at that? Lots of resources online, including in our YouTube channel where this session would be posted. We've got some great videos that are shot on site that will allow you the opportunity to see what the different roles actually do as part of the building process, and a new series that dives a little bit deeper into each career. So we've got 9 episodes that cover construction craft worker, carpentry, and the like to give you a little bit more practical information from employers, from apprentices, and from training providers on how you can get started and what kind of skills you need to be successful. So really, I think I can summarize the discussion today with 3 takeaways. Those are no more, no less, but do your research, try out different things, ask lots of questions, and just take that chance. You have absolutely nothing to lose. So as we wrap up in the last couple of minutes, we will go back to our Mentimeter. So if you are logged in, you can just refresh your page, or you can log in again. There's 2 questions here and 2 slides before we end. The first one is, have we changed your mind? Are you now inspired to at least consider a career in construction as part of your career journey? And I see a huge bump there from, from our previous answers. So big kudos to our industry panel who helped do that. I'll leave this live for another minute or so people can log in. And again, that's www.menti.com. And the code to log in is 15980246. So that's great. I definitely see an uptick there, which success. That means that everything we talked about has resonated, which is really great to see. We'll leave that for a couple more seconds. And then the last slide is we'll just give you the opportunity to tell us what you thought about the session today, what you thought about the speakers, what you thought about the information. Was this helpful? Did you pick up some great advice? Were you inspired to contribute to pursue a career in construction? Or is there something that we can do more? Because this is an annual event. We will do it all again next year. So feel free to tell us how we can improve and how we can give you the information that you need to make the right choice for yourself and be passionate about pursuing a career just like the 4 women on our panel were. So we'll skip over to the next slide and just 10, 9, 8, get your numbers in there. That's great. And here you can tell us what you thought of the presentation. So you should be able to have on your phone a free space where you can write all kinds of comments, as short as like, loved it, thank you so much, all the way to, this is what I would have loved to seen. And if we, we could do, I think, this for the entire day and keep talking about this and have new stuff to see. You can also reach out to our panelists or either LinkedIn or on social media. You can follow us on social media at Bold Foundation and engage with us there. So we're really just here to help you make the right decision for yourself and pursue a career that you are passionate about and that you can be successful in. So with that, we'll leave this option on the comments for a little bit longer, so we won't shut it down even after we are finished. But I just want to say thank you all for joining us today and a very, very happy International Women's Day. Go make history.
Thank you very much.